Welcome back. In this video, talking about the primary results in the state of Arizona for August 28th, 2018. Unfortunately, the vote has been really slow to come in, and it's just one of those situations where they were having issues with some of their voting machines. Hopefully, they clear everything up so we don't have this same issue in the next go-around come the midterms in November. Hopefully, this was a good test run for them. Also, it's kind of inexcusable for Arizona. They were one of the last states to have primaries, so you should be able to iron everything out, but that's just my 2 cents. On another note, Florida earlier today, really great job. That vote came in really quickly. Was able to make a video on that one, but right now we're at a little after 3 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time, and right now we're a little over 50% of the precincts reporting. Also, that early vote has been cast, so that's also something that we have on top of this. So a good chunk of the vote has been counted in Arizona, so we can get a decent picture at what's going on. Also, there wasn't expected to be a whole lot in the way of surprises in Arizona, and that held throughout here. The candidates that were generally expected to win did so here in Arizona. So what I'm going to do is first start with the statewide elections, looking at the Senate matchup, as well as the governorships and how that race went down. And then after that, going to take a look at the competitive House districts, as well as how the progressive candidates did for those that are interested in how those Justice Democrat candidates did in the state of Arizona. So starting off here in the federal statewide election for U.S. Senator, the Republicans kind of dodged a bullet here. What is considered the more moderate candidate of the three, Martha McSally, going on and winning rather convincingly, getting over 50% of the vote, fending off some of the more far right-wing candidates, Kelly Ward as well as George Arpaio, who would have had a much tougher time in the general election against the Democratic winner, Kirsten Sinema. And it's one of those situations where if the Republicans maybe would have banded their two further right-wing candidates together, consolidated that vote, maybe they would have had a better chance at potentially taking down McSally. But as it were, they kind of split some of that vote, and as a result, now the Republicans get a candidate that might have a better shot at picking up independent voters compared to the other candidates that were running. And then on the Democrat side, a very centrist Democrat going on and winning here, Kirsten Sinema, and she was expected to win. She's been the front runner since the start. She did get a challenger from Deidre Aboud, a solid progressive candidate, just didn't have the resources to seriously contend in this statewide election, but definitely put in a lot of hard work. She was a Justice Democrat candidate. So now this one goes to the general election. Should be really competitive. The Democrats do have a slight lean in this one, but like I said, could go either way. Really fascinated to see how this one plays out. Now the other statewide election here is the governorship, and Doug Ducey, the incumbent, he has an extremely good shot at winning this re-election. He's a popular governor in the state. He's going to be challenged here on the Democrat side by David Garcia. That's been called for the Democrats. And just to get you an idea of where the vote stands right now, it actually has been closing a little bit. Once I first started recording this video, the Democrats were down in total vote by about 140,000 votes. Now they're down by about 100,000 votes in the governorship. So there's about 360,000 votes on the Democrat side, about 455,000 in total on the Republican side. It'll be interesting to see if that number continues to shrink as we get more precincts in. It could just be a situation where the precincts that are slower to come in right now come from the more Democratic districts. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case if these ones got a bit closer. Same on the Senate side. We have a little over 361,000 votes cast for the Democrats compared to that same number, about 455,000 for the Republicans. So now I want to go over to the competitive House districts, starting here with the 1st Congressional District. This is listed as likely Democrat, and the Democrats have the incumbency advantage with Tom O'Halloran. And then on the Republican side, it actually hasn't been called yet. Wendy Rogers is winning this one. She's ahead of Steve Smith in what's a pretty close result there. So as you can see here on the screen, we have the 1st Congressional District here from the Democrats, Tom O'Halloran, winning this one. He has about 45,000 votes. On the Republican side right now, it's a little under 50,000 votes, so more turnout, but still about 40% of the precincts to come in. And I wouldn't be surprised, again, if this one shrunk a bit to about a competitive 50-50 result. But the Democrats do have the lean in this one because of that incumbency advantage. As you can see here, Wendy Rogers in a pretty good spot right now. I'd say if you're 5% ahead with 40% of the vote left to be counted. Also, when you include the fact that mail-in ballots have already been counted, That means that I'd be pretty surprised if Wendy Rogers wasn't able to win this one by the end of it. So now going on to Arizona's 2nd Congressional District. And this one is also listed as likely Democrat, and we had a ton of people running on both sides. The Democrats right now, and this is really great, 100% of the precincts reporting, so it's an actual result, final total. A little under 68,000 votes in total for the Democrats, and a little over 60,000 votes for the Republicans. So the Democrats, about 8,000 more votes cast in their primary, and Anna Kirkpatrick going on and winning that one. And then Leah Marquez Peterson winning on the Republican side. And again, like I said, this one is listed as a likely Democratic district. So now the final two, Arizona 6th and Arizona 8, are both listed as likely Republican. So we'll jump into those. But I also just want to touch on a couple of Justice Democrats here. In Arizona's 2nd Congressional District, Mary Matea, I think that's how you pronounce it. She comes in 3rd here, well behind the two top contenders. And then also the 3rd Congressional District, another Justice Democrat incumbent here, Raul Grijalva. Not a surprise. He's going to go on and win this one and keep that seat for the Democrats. More than likely, it's a very safe seat here for the Democrats going into that midterm election with an incumbent progressive candidate. So now moving on to Arizona's 6th Congressional District. Moving on down here. All right, so on the Democrat side, extremely competitive right now. We have only 10% of the vote come in, and then we also have the mail-in ballots counted as well. This must have been one of those districts that the vote is really slow to come in, and like I said, listed as a likely Republican district. Can be competitive, though. Heather Ross currently ahead as the page refreshes there. We'll go back down to that race. Very close between the top two candidates here. Heather Ross slightly ahead. Again, this one could still go either way with a ton of the precincts still left to report. Only 11% of those precincts have reported, and then we also have that early vote as well. But a little over 33,000 votes, right about in that range currently. And then on the Republican side, they have the incumbency advantage. He's running away with things in the total vote at this point. He has 47,000 votes compared to the about 33,000. So about 14,000 votes ahead there, but still a lot of the precincts left to report. We'll see how that one comes out at the end of the day. Listed as a likely Republican. Also, they have the incumbency advantage. So now moving on to the last district I want to talk about, and that is the Arizona's 8th Congressional District. On the Democrat side, they have the candidate running unopposed, and that was Hiral Tiperneni, I think is how you pronounce it. But she has a little under 35,000 votes right now. On the Republican side, with 51% of the precincts reporting, Debbie Lesko, the incumbent, winning and running away with this one. And in total, over 66,000 votes cast on the Republican side. Of course, when you have a competitive situation with multiple candidates going against each other, you're going to get more voter turnout. But that is a rather significant margin right now between the Democrat who ran unopposed compared to the Republican side. Again, this one is listed as a likely Republican district. So that's going to wrap up this video, guys. I touched on the governor's race. The Republicans have a huge advantage in that one. I touched on the Senate race. The Democrats have a slight lean in that one. And then also I touched on the competitive House districts and how those are looking at this point. 2 of them listed as likely Democrat, 2 of them as likely Republican. So thanks for stopping on in. Subscribe for more, and hope to see you back here for future videos.